I definitely appreciate it. But with that being said, it's 6:10, and I want to get through this as fast as I possibly can. I already know how y'all are gonna be cutting up in the chat when y'all see what I'm about to present to y'all right now. And I think Kid Gravity, well, if y'all follow me on Twitter, y'all probably have seen the tweet, one of them, but the other one you may not have seen unless you follow Tariq Nasheed, because he had posted about it. But what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna share the screen, and I'm gonna start with the first post first. So as many of you know, I told y'all that there was somebody who follows me on YouTube who is the cousin to Emmett Till. Thankfully, it's not this person, because the person who reached out to me and left something in the comment section did not sound like this person right here. So this person, their name is Wheeler Parker, and I can tell this was posted on Facebook. And it says 51 minutes ago, but of course that was yesterday. They said, statement on the death of Carolyn Bryant Donham. Our hearts go out to the family of Carolyn Bryant Donham. As a person of faith for more than 60 years, I recognize that any loss is tragic and don't have any animosity toward her, even though no one will be held accountable for the death of my cousin and best friend. It is up to all of us to be accountable to challenges we still face in overcoming racial injustice. This was the tweet that I had saw Tariq had put up, but one of my followers on Twitter actually sent this to me as well, plus the next one I'm gonna talk about. And this is, I'm sitting here saying to myself, in the back of my mind, I hear Jason Black's famous quote. I want y'all to put in the chat, what is Jason Black's famous quote when it comes to dealing with people who are in that AARP age range? Y'all should know it. If y'all watch TBA, y'all know this quote. And if you don't know that he said it, I'm sure you heard someone else say it. Yep, DSB got it. You got to watch out for these old niggas. Like, what would possess you to say something like this? Like, you as a cousin to Emmett Till, you should be a little bit more, I don't know, I'm not gonna say gleeful or joyful about it, because at the end, like at the same time, it's still bittersweet, but you shouldn't be feeling apologetic or feeling some type of way unless it's in a very bad way towards Carolyn Bryant. Like, you should have a very negative, dark vibe from her, especially because you were related to the deceased, and he became deceased primarily because of her. Is absolutely insane. First, I had to do that bed bucking video on Bob Woodson yesterday. Was it yesterday? I believe it was yesterday. And now this dude right here. And shout out to VVinny01 for becoming a member of the channel. I appreciate it. I don't know what's going on. Like, this is insane to me. I bet you if he could, he would find a way to give a hug to one of Carolyn Bryant's living relatives, since he can't hug her. He might actually go visit the grave and put some flowers there. People are crazy out here. This man is clearly living outside of his own head, because there is no way in hell that if a person like her did what she did or was responsible for the role she played in doing that to my loved one, would I ever write a post that looked anything like this. And it's really a shame when you have family members who are, they're kin to these individuals, who put stuff up there like this, but we're the people who have no relation to them whatsoever and have all the rage in the world. This is the type of person that they like to trot out there whenever something happens, in order to quote unquote quell the audience, to try to calm people down. The minute when he said as a person of faith, I knew he was on that he was most likely on that forgiveness tip. I already knew. But if y'all thought that was bad, y'all better hang on to your seats for this next one. Now, truthfully, honestly, the next one I'm about to show you is the real reason I wanted to put this in the stream today. And that was this tweet from this individual right here by the name of Tiffany Women for Women. Man, let me tell y'all. When I tell you, this tweet is going to have y'all fuming like it had many other people fuming. Now, this Tiffany person was responding into a tweet that the Associated Press had posted up yesterday when they announced the death of Carolyn Bryant. I don't have to go into that. We already know she did. But this Tiffany Women for Women, who is a black woman, posted this tweet that had people flaming her, at least in the quoted tweets they did. So let's go over what she said. She says, people have so much to say about this story without knowing even basic information about it. Listen, we know enough, and we know so much, in fact, that this woman was primarily responsible for what happened to that boy back in 1955. Already she's telling you she's about to make a claim for this woman, even in death. Now, keep in mind, there's been recent reports surrounding around Ralph Yarl and Andrew Lester where they're trying to make Ralph Yarl seem like he is like they try to throw the big black boogeyman effect on him. And this chick right here is about to do the same thing on Emmett Till. Just watch and listen to what I have to say. Some of y'all in the chat, I've already seen this tweet. The first thing she says, she didn't tell the murderers anything about Emmett Till. A witness at the store told her husband, and he, a violent and aggressive man already, was furious with her for not telling him, which she didn't do specifically because she quite rightly feared he'd go after Emmett Till. Now, there was always this thing that was put out there that Carolyn Bryant's husband, and this most likely could be true, was abusive towards her. That's always been something that was reported here and there. However, that does not change the fact that this woman still played a part. She's already off to the wrong foot. The second point she puts up, the murderers stated that they killed him for quote unquote ugly remarks and made no mention of any sort of physical contact. And this is important because Emmett Till was already murdered when she lied on the stand about him physically touching her, testimony the jury did not get to hear, in which it has been concluded that she was instructed to say by her defense team. I call BS. I call BS on that. But look at the case that this woman is making. Trust me, this is all going to lead somewhere when you read the replies to this. She says, I am in no way excusing her lying under oath. But you are, because the but's about to come in, about the extent of what happened that day. But her lies did not get Emmett Till killed. What? But they did, though. They did. She goes on to say what they did was justify extreme racism after the fact and feed into an anti-black narrative about black men being lecherous toward white women. Now, you can be furious at her white tears or whatever if you like, but please do remember to spare some of your vitriol and hatred for the white men who made up the jury women and minorities were banned from jury consideration for this trial, who acquitted the white men who actually murdered Emmett Till and then sold the sordid confession of his torture and murder for $4,000 to Look magazine after double jeopardy laws made it impossible to retry them for the crime. But no, of course, men can never be held accountable for their actions. It's always a woman's fault. You can tell that by the last part that I just highlighted, that this woman is a staunch feminist. She wrote all of this to take the accountability off of Carolyn Bryant to put on solely onto the men, which was her husband and her brother-in-law, because it just had to all be their fault. Yes, they definitely played a part, but so did she. Now, if y'all thought that was crazy what she wrote, I want y'all, well, peep this. For those of y'all, I'm gonna give you a little small crash course on how Twitter works. You see this box right here that says who can reply? People at woman for W follows or mentions can reply. People usually turn that on when they post ridiculous stuff like this, and they got people going in on them. And as you can see, it's a lot of people that's going in. But I want y'all to see these replies though. And first of all, she wrote some more. I didn't peep that. She wrote some more. It's worth noting that after they sold their story to the press bragging about the murder, the town stopped supporting them. Their stores went out of business. Banks wouldn't give them loans, and they were basically shunned out of town by good, decent people. Okay, am I supposed to cry tatted tears for that? She went on to say, I really appreciate all the comments telling me that I am a race traitor for shifting the blame for Emmett Till's murder to the white men who were the actual murderers. Y'all hate women so much, and it shows. And then she says, locking this tweet down, what she did with this part right here when I was telling you about the blue box, locking this tweet down because no one has a point to make other than outrage that white men need to be held accountable for white male crime. Feel free to continue crying in the quotes though. And that's where they're lighting her ass up at, is in the quoted tweets. Because they were, man, when I show y'all some of the stuff that people were responding to in the regular tweets, I mean, like in the replies, they'll see the staunch difference. This person named Jennifer says, how did you make things bold? Are you on a phone? Can I do that on an iPhone app? She worrying about how do you make words bold in this live a tweet. This one that says Mrs. Danvers says, I love your tweets. Thank you for this one. It sounds the most believable account I have heard. And frankly, it makes perfect sense. Now, keep in mind who's agreeing with her the most. It's mainly white women. Because in this one tweet, this black woman literally shifted all the blame off of Carolyn Bryant and put it all onto her husband and onto her brother-in-law, which white women are loving right now because they don't like accountability either. Let's continue. This says, this fry burglar says, never knew most of this, just heard of that woman and that it was all down to her. Now, mind you, they're automatically agreeing with this person who they do not know from a can of paint. She didn't post any links to back up anything that she posted, but because it makes white women feel good, they'll agree to it. Let's continue. Emma Lou, thanks for sharing this, sister. I might think I can figure facts out by myself, but sometimes I think I should listen to more experienced women who know more than I do. And also, I think it's important to remember people, especially women, and most especially women who aren't here to defend themselves from sensational stories in the correct way. Notice she called her sister. Let's continue. Finally, it's a black woman right here who's speaking somewhat. I don't know. Let me see what she says. I've never heard this narrative. It actually sounds as if she was a victim, possibly abused herself. This hurts to read, but I pride myself on evolving when presented with new information. I'm going to look into this and recant my statements if I find evidence supporting this. Oh my God. When I found out it was a known fact her husband was abusive towards her, I figured something like this was the true story. It kind of makes me sick to think about the satisfaction it would give her husband to know she carries the blame to the grave and beyond. And it goes on and on and on and on. That's how most of the replies look. Now I want y'all to peep something else. I'm gonna go to her page. This is her page right here. I want y'all to look at her bio. I'm gonna zoom in as much as I possibly can so y'all can really see it. This is her page right here. That's her. That's her. So y'all can see a more closer picture of how she looks. That is her right there in the picture. Her bio says spirits gender. Now, y'all gonna get a kick out of this. She says, I support all female people, trans or not. I'll repeat that. I support all female people, trans or not. So she's on that kick. Does not include males. That is feminism to me. Oh, and hate or hate. Well, I don't know what she was trying to say right there. Montgomery is a man. I don't know who. Slytherin. But look at but before I go to the pin tweet, there was a tweet that she posted and the thing, and I remember seeing it, but I would have to scroll down so far to actually pull it up. It's funny. She says, I support all female people, trans or not. But it was another tweet that she had posted a while ago where she was posting her disdain for black people supporting trans individuals. I'm like, what kind of, I would hate to live inside of her mind. If she has a mind to live inside of, that is. But look at this pin tweet right here that she pinned it on May 1st, 2022, which is almost a year ago. She says, if a black man, if a black woman wasn't black, she'd still be a woman. If a disabled woman wasn't disabled, she'd still be a woman. If a genderqueer, polyromantic, demisexual woman wasn't all that BS, she'd still be a woman. If a transgender woman wasn't transgender, she'd be a man, baby. Kid Gravity, she has a chop. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, she got tore up in the quoted tweets. These 1,261 quotes were people flaming her, and she knew it, which is why she had to kind of cut off her replies with people that follow her or she mentioned. So she probably, I wouldn't be surprised if she went on a blocking spree. She ain't blocked me, because if she did, I wouldn't have been able to pull up her page or this tweet for that matter. So yeah,